So, your team didn't make the playoffs. Or maybe they did, and you're just trying to figure out what I'm going to say about them. Well, either way, I'm here to help you through your options so you can figure out which team to root for in the 2024 NFL playoffs. Let's begin. First things first, to figure out what team to root for, I got to know a little bit about you. What kind of person you are could directly influence your rooting preferences for the postseason or maybe even your full-time team. So with that out of the way, now we can get started. Maybe you're the basic type. You don't like to take risks. You like to play it safe. You like to just go with the crowd, and if you disagree with the popular opinion, you like to keep that as close to your chest as the logo on your shirt. You don't want to root for anything less than the odds-on favorite this year, and that's why the perfect team for you is the Kansas City Chiefs. But maybe you're the exact opposite. You're a risk taker. You live life on the edge, and that's why you're your betting app's favorite person. You live by the saying, nothing ventured, nothing gained, and the idea of a safe bet makes you want to throw up. I mean, there's no challenge there. There's no risk. There's no reward. There's no money to be made there. You probably want to root for a wildcard team. You also want to root for a team that could go all the way or could just as easily lose in the first round. The team for you, my friend, is the Green Bay Packers. Now let's talk about how you are with other people. Maybe you're a man of the people. Whenever you're at a football game, you always love chopping it up with everybody in your section, and whenever your friends want to have a get-together, you're always quick to invite them over to your place. You're the popular pick, but you also don't let it get to your head because you just love hanging out with people that much, and that, my friend, is why people love you. The perfect team for you, sir, is the Buffalo Bills. But on the other hand, maybe you hate people. You're antisocial to your core, and you don't seem to mind because you've learned to enjoy your own company and the satisfaction of being at home. After all, home is the only place where the room is always the right temperature, the food and drinks are always free, there's never a line for the bathroom, and the best part, people leave you alone. For this reason, whenever you do go out, you're usually the first one to leave. Why? So you can get back home and go be by yourself again. The perfect team for you is the Houston Texans. Now let's talk about your family. Maybe you're the oldest sibling. You have a strong sense of responsibility and accountability for others. Yeah, sure, pulling the weight of yourself and somebody else, like say another team in your city, can be annoying at times, but you've been doing it so long you've come to be respected for it. Plus, quiet as kept, you secretly like the authority that you have over your younger siblings, being able to tell them what to do and whatever you say goes, no matter what you say. The perfect team for you is another team that's in those very same shoes, the Los Angeles Rams. But then maybe you're the middle sibling. All through life, you're kind of just known as the other sibling. You're not the leader, that's your older sibling, and you're not the baby of the family, that's your younger sibling. You're kind of just there. You're still looking for your own identity since you can't find one that's directly related to your family or your other siblings. So since you're the forgotten sibling, I'm going to give you a team that we're probably going to forget was in the playoffs in a couple months, so you can have the Denver Broncos. But then maybe you're the youngest sibling. Unlike the middle sibling, you do have an identity of your own. You're the baby of the family, but that title sticks with you for life, no matter how old you get or what you do. Now, while you do tend to enjoy being able to get away with things your older siblings can't because you're the adorable one, you also find it irritating that your identity is directly tied to them and not you. However, whenever you try to step out of their shadow, life quickly humbles you back into it. Well, my young friend, there is a team that can share your pain, and they are the Los Angeles Chargers. Next, let's talk about your life, shall we? Maybe you're the one that's just good at everything. You're good at sports, you always got good grades growing up, you got a good job, everything you touch just seems to turn to gold. And while this success is nice to have and nice to look at, it does kind of get boring to you. You find yourself wanting more out of life, but every time you express this, people just look at you like, dude, you already have everything you could ever want. Just chill. Well, golden boy, I have the perfect team for you, and they are the Pittsburgh Steelers. But maybe you're, let's face it, a screw-up. You ruin everything you touch. You have no skills, no talents, no nothing, or so you believe. Anytime you get involved with anything, everybody secretly thinks it's going to be a disaster just because you're there, but they're just too nice to tell you because, oh, bless his heart, he's trying his best. All you want is a win. And it's gotten to the point where you consider a day where nothing happens as a dub because nothing bad happened to you. But what if I told you there was a team in these playoffs that spent 30 years living exactly like this? For you, my accident-prone friend, you get the Washington Commanders. Next, let's talk about your thought process. Maybe you have a sound mind. All of your decisions you make are based on cold, hard logic, and though there may be some risks here and there, most of the time you err on the side of caution. Sure, it might be boring, and you might not be the most popular one at school or at your job or wherever, but what you do works, so you ain't got a problem with that. And I can't think of a better team to pair you with than a team that's won their division 5 years in a row. For you, my calculated friend, you get the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Or maybe you're just downright crazy. You got enough screws loose to keep Home Depot open. As a kid, you were definitely one of the ones that tried to make a flamethrower out of bug spray and a lighter. Kids, do not try that at home. Please, I'm dead serious. Don't do it. Now, as for you, most people are scared to go near you because they think you'll bite them, particularly in the kneecaps. But after a while, you turn out to be a pretty cool guy. Now, nobody knows what goes on in that head of yours, but the fact that you're still kicking means you're clearly at least doing something right. The perfect team for you is the Detroit Lions. And finally, let's talk about your personality. Maybe you're the popular one. And I don't mean high school popular, I mean people actually like you. Why? Because you're the funny one. You always have just the right joke, just the right reference, just the right meme. You always come through with the A1 comedy. Whenever you come around, people's faces always light up because they just know it's going to be a good day now that you're here. An elite person in the friend group deserves an elite team to root for, so my king or my queen, you get the Baltimore Ravens. But then maybe you're the type that thrives off negativity. You wake up every day looking for somebody to fight or somebody to argue with. You live your life like you're simultaneously on the debate team and in the next DLC for Mortal Kombat. You probably rehearse arguments in your room just so you're ready to go on Twitter and see something you don't like. Your whole personality is centered around nobody liking you and how you always got to be ready for the ops, even though the ops in question 9 times out of 10 are some kid on Twitter that lives in West Virginia. The only team for somebody like you is the Philadelphia Eagles. And lastly, maybe you're the quiet type. You don't always talk, but when you do, you're constantly being talked over and ignored. Now, don't get me wrong. People actually like you. They're just not used to hearing you talk. On the other hand, though, you hear other people talk all the time, and a lot of the time it makes you be glad to be quiet, so that way you don't stoop down to their level of stupidity. You're very observant and very strategic. You only make yourself known when the time is right. So when other people do see you, one thing is for certain, and that's that you mean business. The perfect team for you, my friend, is the Minnesota Vikings. So, do you like your team? Let me know in the comments, and until next time, keep the vibes high, my friends.